let's show you how to put it back together now. So first of all, what you want to do is start off with your bolt and your spring. Just like the TM7, this spring only goes on one way. It'll go on one way and you'll notice it doesn't come off. If you put it on the other way, it's very easy to notice because it doesn't actually stay on. And this also actually, when you put it on, sometimes it makes a good click. I'm not sure if you could hear that, but there you go. So once you've got that, go ahead and drop it in, pass it through with your finger, and then grab the next piece. And this is actually easy to line up. You'll see this little notch here. Let's see if I could show you. It's this little piece right here, just sticking up, and it's got a little pinhole through it. You line that up with the pin here. There's a silver pin right there sticking up. So just pass it down, and it'll just stick down. This part's a little awkward because there is springs holding it down, and it'll push back if you let it go. So hold it down with your one finger, grab the same screws that you're using before, put it in, and start putting it back together. It's one of those awkward moves, just like every gun has. And give it a good tight. There you go. So there's the whole piece back together. Next, you want to grab your body and just place it in. You'll see some grooves for the mechanics of it, and it should just drop right in there. Next, what you want to do is you want to grab the screw that was holding in the insides, grab it and just screw it in. Holds down so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then your battery cover, you just got to slide it right back on. And there you go. It's pretty simple. Make sure the electronic lines are out of the way so you don't get them pinched or anything. And then from there, you can basically start putting like all the little pieces back in. You got your trigger assembly. Put that back on its little guide pin. There you go. You can see the spring there. Got your little trigger guard. Flip it over. There we go. And that kind of just sits in. It can only go in one way, so you can see it there. That's how it is so far. You can see the trigger guard right there. And then next, what we want to do is grab some other small parts. We got your little slider that covers up the velocity. We'll put that in. Just let it sit. And it kind of sits only in one spot because there's a little guide there. And then grab this little half U-shaped kind of doohickey and just drop it in to place here. If you take this apart and you don't actually know where it goes, it's actually a pain because it doesn't look like it goes anywhere. Basically, this back piece here has a notch there, and that's what it sits into. It looks like this part is what it's going to sit into, but it doesn't. There's this little back piece there, and it sits into it, just like that. Get a couple different angles. So then, after you're good with that, you can go ahead and grab your other half, actually. Grab your mag pin, pass it through. Let's see the best way to do this, actually. And then you can put everything back on. Try to get everything lined up the first time. And once you get everything on, it'll just kind of squish down. It doesn't make any clicks or anything like that, so it's kind of a little hard sometimes. And then just keep all the pressure down. Make sure you cover the mag pin. Actually, let's put that aside for a second. And that's basically everything there together. Sometimes this falls back out, just put it back in, no biggie. Actually, we'll leave that aside for now. A little easier to do it this way. So after you got that all done, you want to hold the back of the pin, grab your spring, drop it onto the pin there, you'll just slide inside, and then grab the cover, the other side of the button, and just drop it on. It'll only go one way because it's actually shaped on the one side like a rectangle. and then just drop it on, give it a push, and it'll sit in there, and then grab your small screw, drop it on, and then tighten it up. There you go, so that's on, you can see that. And then next what we want to do is put on those screws again, the 2 screws that were holding it into place on the grip. So there they are. You can go ahead and put on the grip again, the rubber grip. Just slide it back over top, and then grab the other screws that hold it on, and put those back in place. And there you go, they're all back in now. You can see 2 on that side and 2 on that side. From there, this is actually a good time to show you how the bolt comes out the back. Usually, like we were telling you about, there's covers on it, and you pull it off. Once you get those 2 screws off, you can actually access the screw on the bottom that we actually showed you how to take out and pull it out. So basically you can access everything from here. We just wanted to show you actually how everything comes apart. So usually all you have to do is take off the back cap, take out this one screw, and then everything comes out the back just like that. It's very simple. And next what we want to do actually is put on the stock. So grab your stock. It's actually a little easier if you stretch it a little bit, because then you got a little more room to play with, and just pass it onto the grooves in the back. It'll just kind of sit in there because it's the spot it's meant to go. Grab your valve, the cover for your velocity, and just drop it in. It only sit in one way. And then grab this little U-shaped piece and just fit it on the back beside the stock. It kind of just supports it. Then after you got that all, grab your back block, put it at an angle. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit until it gets in the right spot. But once you get it, it'll slide right in. There we go. And push it down. And make sure you hold it with your hand, because otherwise you could lose your stock and everything will come back out. So there it is. Grab your screws and tighten it back down. So now that you've got the back plate on, and the mag pin and the grip, basically nothing's coming apart, so you can kind of do in whatever order you like to, but I like to actually start the same way we took it apart, so start from the top and just start putting those back in, and then the bottom. So let's go ahead and put the top row back in. After you got those 4 in the top, again, I like to go to the next row. I think there's 5 there, and again, you have your shape for your screws. You just want to make sure you put them back in the same shape that you put them in. So go ahead and do that now. And then after you got that row done, there's just the last 2 there holding on for the mag well. So go ahead and put those 2 in. Okay, so after you're done putting on those 2 screws, what I like to do is just go over all of them again, just give them a good tight, make sure everything's in spot right. So go ahead and do that, just to make sure everything is where it should be. Alright, so after you got the screws back in, basically all that's left is putting back in the regular things, your barrel. Go ahead and do that, there you go. Pass it down. Your mag, there's your battery. Pass it in there. And then you got your elbow. Make sure it's on the right side. It's kind of a pain. Get it and slide it on, and just kind of try to line it up with your feed hole. And then what's good to do is always just pass your finger and make sure it's passing through the right spot, because sometimes you can get it a little off. So otherwise, that's it. You can see everything's back together, everything's in the right spot. And that's how you disassemble the TM15. Thanks a lot, guys.